The third speaker is Vaha Banjaev. He was wounded during the Chechen war, and he was detained in Russian detention camps and prisons, and he's a veteran. You have 20 minutes, Banjaev, Mr. Banjaev, please. You have the floor.
Уважаемые участники конференции, уважаемые организаторы.
Distinguished participants, distinguished organizers of this conference, first of all, I would like to salute you all with my deepest gratitude because you have come here in order to exhibit solidarity with the people of the Caucasus, and also because you are responding to the plight of the Chechens. Why am I talking about Chechens? In the last century, the Chechen people have become a focal point. The entirety of Europe and Islamic world has been showing more attention to the Chechen people. I'm very happy to be here at this conference, and my personal suffering and the suffering of the Chechen people are being expressed here today, which is very touching. I have participated in many conferences, and I have also worked at the European Council level for 3 years on these issues. Russia and Chechenistan engaged in armed conflict, and I was part of the reconciliation committee. European Council supported Russia, and that's when I left those efforts. And I worked in Brussels as well. In 2004 I worked in Brussels, but everything was in vain because no one lent a listening ear to me. Rohlin, Robles, no one really cared about what I had to say. And right now they haven't really changed their mentality. Yes, my people suffered great plights, and the European public does not acknowledge this suffering because they have vested economic interests, and many Chechens were expelled from European countries. 280 people have now been deported from Europe, and the European Convention that was enacted in 1949 is being breached because of these exportations. The Geneva Convention recognizes the rights of people in the region. We are all victims, and the European Union does not protect us, and they use it as a means to further their political interests. The Western world and Europe and the Islamic world, which we had great hopes about and from, and we were hoping that finally concrete steps could be taken and this genocide would come to a halt. Especially the genocide of the Chechen people are still going on. So we had these high hopes, but unfortunately nothing came out of these hopes, and we resent the Islamic world as well. We ourselves are Muslims. For 400 years we have been trying to live our religion freely, and we have been fighting to become a sovereign state for almost 450 years. I'm not a historian, I'm an energy engineer, and historians would know this better, but I do not wish to read out texts to you, but here's what I would like to say to you and share with you all. I am here to represent the Chechen people, but right now I am also the vice president of the survivors of detention camps. 185,000 Chechens were tortured at these camps, and right now these people are incapacitated and they cannot work. 185,000 people have become disabled people because of these detention camps, and we have 16,000 Chechens who have disappeared in inverted commas, who could not come back from these detention camps. So yes, I was also one of those detention camps, and I lost my um, lost my hearing in one of my ears, and I was one of those people. And our some of our ears have been cut out. We were ready to die, but we couldn't resist because our hands were tied, and um, we were taken to a river from those concentration camps, and we were just left there, and we were portrayed as terrorists on TV. But there were 1,500 people with me in this concentration camp that I was in, and only 520 of these people could survive. The remaining were disappeared or killed. And I know that we have brothers and sisters in Turkey, and their wives and husbands are right now labeled as lost, and they are being searched not just in Turkey but all across the globe. Human rights activists, advocates have been lying to us, perpetually lying to us, and our problems are never solved by them. We, the Islamic world, can only solve our problems today and stop this bloodshed. We can do this together. We should join our forces, and hopefully we will do this. And this is what Doku Omaru is waiting to happen before we have left it alone. The Russian army was in charge, and this army has 500,000 people. And right now, many Chechen people are disabled. Our sisters were taken to Europe, but even if we cannot fight, we should still raise our voices. Here we are today in Turkey. We have come from Canada, from Europe, from all across the globe, because we are a nation that is scattered all across the globe. We came here and left our families behind, and in our homeland, our people are subject to violence. 3 days ago, the house of our mujahideen were burnt in Caucasia, and their relatives, their families were kicked out in the streets, and their houses were burned, and sometimes the houses were burned with the parents in them, and you can find many news articles on the internet about these. And today as well, in Chechenistan, in northern Caucasus, there's great bloodshed. Our English, Georgian, and other brothers have joined us, and Russia knows this, and the entire world knows this. But it gives me great sorrow to say that right now the European countries are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Unfortunately, they still care about the natural gas, and they are ready to give to the Russians the last Chechen fighters that they are harboring in their country, as long as they're given natural gas. Do not be hopeful. I've been working in Europe for the last 12 years, but they did not listen us, they did not understand us. Now I would like to call out to you, dear brothers, dear sisters, those who lost their children, their spouses, their parents, those who go to Europe and forget their own language. I would like to call out to you, and I would like you to join us in our struggle. And I also would like to extend my gratefulness to İMKANDER for making this event possible. And hopefully this conference will be a new step in our struggle for for an independent Caucasus and for independent Chechens. I know that we have many families with us here today, and I'm sure that you have loved ones that have been martyred. Try as you might, you will never be able to convince the Europeans. They talk the talk, but they do not walk the walk. I hope that this conference that has been organized by İMKANDER will be a step in the right direction, and hopefully other efforts will follow suit, and I will try and be in touch with İMKANDER in the future. Thank you very much once again for this conference. I know my time is limited, so here's what I would like to say finally. Our brothers and sisters are still suffering at the camps, the Russian camps, and the civilian people, Ingushi people, Georgians, Kabardis, all these local people are suffering at these camps. And unfortunately, I don't have the time to go into details, but today, more than 500,000 Chechen people are suffering at extraction camps in Russia. 16,000 children were slaughtered, and neonatals were also killed. 98,000 women were killed during this process. I'm talking about the two Chechen wars. And 185,000 elderly people were also killed. And these are only rough figures. Natasha Estremiou was working at an institution, and she was supporting our cause. We have 26 volunteers working in Chechenistan right now, and they are under threat, and they are being killed and disappeared in inverted commas, and they are subject to violence. But the European world and the Western world are still keeping silent because they have vested interests and mutual interests vis-a-vis Russia, and also they care about business opportunities. If Doku Omar is supported by the Western world, then Russia will cut its economic ties. If you have any concerns, any doubts, just come to me. I have so many different cases and examples I can share with you. That because I've been working on this for 12 years, and I'm ready to share my experience and my collected information with you. Our time is very limited, that's why I cannot go into details, but I left some of my documents in Australia. Here's what I would like to say. Those who flee their houses, flee their homeland, dream about their homeland and houses, and no one wants to live outside their homeland in foreign lands, because in those foreign lands you are only given subsistence, and Chechen people do not want to beg for a small piece of bread. We are ready to become mujahideens. We are a proud nation, and we are ready to give our lives if necessary. And we have had so many historical figures that have paved the way for us, because these people gave their lives for this cause, and they did not die so that we can sit back and do nothing here today. Yes, we need an emirate of Caucasus, but Russia needs to step out of Caucasus for this to happen. Emirate of Caucasus would be the only state that would recognize And I would like to say this once again on behalf of all the Chechens that are held hostage in these concentration camps. Dokumarov is our emir. Some people are afraid to say this. Why? Why do we conceal our faces? Why do we conceal our plight? Because this is going to be handed over to the next generations. Today there is war in the Caucasus, but who's to say that there will not be war in Europe or in the States in the near future? The war has crept to the doorstep of Europe and Turkey. Omer Israilov has been killed. Ramzan Kadyrov designed this murder. And why do we not raise our voices against this? Why is the Islamic world not organized in the face of this? Why do we not join our forces and raise our voices together? I'm sure that the Islamic world today, if the Islamic world did something about this, then Russia could step out of the Caucasus. Otherwise, all this suffering will continue, and we are Muslims too, and our hearts and our souls belong to Allah the Almighty. And of course, we do believe in our Prophet. And we are made of the same flesh and the same bones, but we don't have the power to continue anymore because of all these sufferings and all these losses. For how long will the Islamic world keep silent? Please wake up, that's my plea. And today, let us turn to Dokumov's legacy. And let us be realistic. And let us save as many Chechens as possible. Today, there are backstabbers and these people are working for the enemy, and their children will do the same, and we need to exterminate them as well. It is only then can we actually do something about this onslaught.
Стыдно, вот мне мало сжимает. Я, конечно, не смог этого вам сказать.
Of course, my time is very limited and I wasn't able to say everything that I wanted to, but I would like to make a plea to all the participants. We will all go back to our own countries, but you will have my contact information. You also have all contact information concerning İMKANDER. We can raise the awareness of the entire world against Russian fascism. This is what Doku Umar is expecting us to do. And this is what we need to do. And we have to take this decision. We have to take the necessary precautions. We do not want young women to die, children to die, or civilians to die. Doku Umar does not expect us anything to do but to launch the jihad, because he set out on jihad. And even being here in this very conference is a means of contributing to his jihad. If Doku Umar relinquishes his guns, his weapon, one way or the other, for one reason or another, then all those Chechenians that had to leave their countries will go back to homeland. Maybe not voluntarily, but we will have to. Don't forget this. Because we cannot just sit and watch. We cannot afford to just sit and watch. In this resistance, we have to be shoulder to shoulder with Doku Umar and with our Mujahideen brothers. One more request from everyone. I want to organize a photography exhibition. I want to show the entire world what I have been telling you. Because when I raise my voice, the world does not hear me. People have shut their ears. Maybe they can only see what I mean through their eyes. That's why we need an exhibition. We need to display through photographs what has been going on. Maybe at least the newborns will be awakened. In Chechnya, houses are being burned down. Their people are being repatriated, expelled, not only from their own country but also from Europe. They are doomed to death. But we cannot just sit and watch what is going on. European Court of Human Rights. I filed 125 lawsuits in the court, but they said everybody has to make individual complaint against the court. So my applications, my appeals were rejected. Before I came here, I and my association met the hostages. Everyone said, Doku Umar is our emir and our president. And the only state that Chechens can accept is the Caucasus Emirate. Islamic world, due to real political and economic reasons, have been neglecting some very humanitarian and basic values together with the Western world. Due to economic and realpolitik related concerns, we have forgotten our humanitarian responsibilities, our moral duties.